Welcome back. All right, the word of the day is shell. Uh, and shell's an interesting one. My daughter had a game that she actually wanted to play with me the other day, and it was an interesting one because anytime kids come up with games, it's something that's different, unique, and something that you never really would have thought of. And so she wanted to play this shell game, and she had a shell, and on one side she had a picture of herself that she drew, and on the other side she had a picture of her brother. Now, the way the game is actually played is she would flip it just like you would flip a coin, and if it landed on her, then I was going to get the opportunity to tell her something that I wanted her to do. And if it landed on my her brother, then that would be me, and she would be able to tell me whatever it is she wanted me to do. So it was funny. The first time she flipped that shell, she's like, "Oh, you had to do something that I asked you to do," even though it landed on her. And I was like, "Ho, wait 1 minute." So again, she loves to win, has a very, very competitive nature. So as soon as that happened, she was thinking to herself, "No, maybe Dad doesn't know the rules yet, so maybe I can change it up real quick." But I was listening and I knew the rules. So I was like, no. If it landed on you, that means that I get to choose what you get to actually do. So she's just like, "Oh, yeah, okay." So I went straight out the bat. So I was like, what am I going to get my 5-year-old daughter to do? Let's do some exercise. So the first thing I had her do, I was like, let's do push-ups. 5 push-ups. So she pushes them out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Does awesome, right? Then the next time, she flips the coin and lands on her again. So then I was like, well, let's do sit-ups. So then we did sit-ups. I was like, 10 sit-ups. So, I just did it with her. I wasn't going to let her do them alone. It's like, this is how you do a sit-up. So I showed her how to do a sit-up. We did all the sit-ups. Flipped it again. Landed on her again. 3 in a row, right? I'm like, I must be good at this game. So then I was like, okay, well, let's do jumping jacks. We did 10 jumping jacks. All right, she's in it, and she's just like, she was getting the workout she was not expecting, right? So sometimes we get ourselves into things, and when we get the results that we don't expect, we're like, all right, I'm just going to go with it. And then 4 times she flips it, and it lands on her again. And I was like, okay, this time we're going to do burpees. So she had to do a burpee. She's like, what is a burpee? I had to remember what a burpee was. It's been so long since I've done it. And so it's like a burpee is like a combination of like a push-up and jump up in the air and go back to a push-up, right? So she did that. So I got 4 straight. And I'm thinking like, oh, hey, look at the time. You look like you have to get back to class because she has, the virtual school and everything. So then she comes back. She's like, oh, we get to do one more. So I was like, all right, Sid, one more. Then she flips it, and what do you know? It lands on her brother, which is me. So I'm thinking to myself, oh boy. Sydney, what do you want me to do? And so she's looking at the coin, and she's just like, I want you to draw a picture of me. And my jaw just dropped. I'm like, what? You want me to draw a picture of you? Now, I do a lot of different things, but drawing isn't something I've done since I was a kid. Like, that's how long it's been. I'll color, I'll shade, color between the lines, but I don't really draw. So I took what you said to heart, and I was just like, well, you want me to draw. So I sucked it up, and I said, okay, well, if I'm going to draw you, I need a picture of you. So I took a picture of her, and that was going to be my canvas. And so after I took the right picture and I put it in front of me, I had to figure out where to start. And I'm just sitting there like, what am I going to do? But the big thing is, she draws all the time. She wouldn't even have to take a second thought as far as what she was going to draw or how she was going to start or anything, because she has all the practice. But me, I don't draw at all. So I wanted to do a good job and do her justice, and especially, when she actually gave that to me. So I just had to start somewhere. So I started with her nose, and then I drew her mouth, and then I drew kind of like the outline around her chin and her hair. And it was a very interesting journey and process, something that definitely put me out of my comfort zone, because I didn't know how I was going to start, but considering that my daughter challenged me and she did everything that I challenged her to do, I was not going to get stood up. So I learned something. after I drew everything, I learned that if I do have a skill when it comes to drawing, I draw old people. It sounds as funny as it is, but that's what I do. That's my superpower when it comes to drawing. I draw old people. If you can see the picture that I actually drew of my daughter Sydney, it looks like she's aged quite a bit. Sometimes we called her little grandma. Well, I think I actually drew her as little grandma because for one reason or another, doesn't matter what I draw. I can draw a young person, but they turn out to be an old person, so I draw old people. So I learned something about myself, right? But the bigger thing is I stepped out of my comfort zone. And it's something that we all have to do because the moment you think out of your comfort zone, you start thinking about things differently. And it's important to think about things differently because when you stop thinking about them the same old way and you do things in a new way, you get new results. You get different results. And I'm blessed to actually have had that opportunity where my daughter challenged me. She dared me. I took on that dare. I took on that challenge. I have the photo or the portrait that I drew. And as soon as I showed it to my wife, she cracked up. She's just like, who is this? And then I compared it to the picture that I actually took of my daughter. She was just like, so my wife got a laugh. So I think she got some entertainment out of it. I definitely got some entertainment out of it. And regardless of how the picture actually showed up, my daughter got entertainment out of it. So this is just kind of just a shout out to thanking the world and my family for giving me challenges and just having the courage to actually just do it, right? All you have to do is start. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to start and you have to do it. So, wanted to share this message with you today. Sometimes you have to get out of your shell. And in order to get out of your shell, you have to break and you have to do something you haven't done before or something you may not be the most comfortable with and don't care about the results. The very fact that you did it is a result. So I hope this message resonates with you. There's another great message coming up as far as how I took a challenge and I actually gave it to my son Ethan. So that will be coming up next. Check that out. It's called The Promissory Note. It'll be an interesting one. But this goes out to breaking your shell. And thanks for watching and hope you got this message. Hopefully you're tuned into it and try something new. You can do it whenever you want. It can be whatever you want. So, kudos. Bye.